Top 7 reasons why I left the Philippines, honestly. So in this video, I'll explain not just why I left the Philippines again, but also why I continue to explore other countries. I'll show you a video I took in the Philippines as I explain. Top 7 reasons why I left the Philippines. Number 1, Baskin-Robbins. In the US, we have an ice cream store called Baskin-Robbins. They are famous for having 31 flavors of ice cream. If you go to Baskin-Robbins and order the same flavored ice cream every day, maybe you'd be happy spending all of your time in one country. But I like to taste more flavors. I indeed prefer some flavors more than others, but I only know that because I've tasted them. I tend to prefer flavors that include at least some chocolate or coffee or mocha mint or salty caramel. I also enjoy a butter pecan, strawberry, or boysenberry from time to time. And that way, countries remind me of ice creams. Some just feel better on your tongue than others. The only way you'll know your favorite countries is by going there and tasting them. The Philippines has some great flavors that you really can't get easily in other countries. In the Philippines, you could walk on a white sand beach, shaded by palm trees, swim in a pristine plunge pool at the base of a 50-foot waterfall, snorkel through a floral coral reef with thousands of colorful fish, and dance the night away with a beautiful local that speaks English, all in the same day for less than $20. Once you have tasted that flavor, you'll want to come back for seconds. Over the last 3 years, I've spent almost all of my time in the Philippines. I've traveled all over the Philippines reporting on the best places to retire, including Camiguin Island, Davao, Dumaguete, El Nido, Coron, Makati, Panglao, Cagayan de Oro, Tagaytay, Subic Bay, Angeles City, Baguio, Vigan, La Union, Puerto Galera, Siargao, Cebu, Moboa, Siquijor, Iloilo, and Baguio. Once I've been in a new city for a few weeks or a few months, I want to taste another city. Each city I visit in the world tastes different from the last. Every city I've visited so far has something amazing about it, but also a thing or two that's not as good as other cities I have tasted. The Philippines is no different in that regard. So I think of the world like Baskin-Robbins, but instead of 31 flavors, it has 180 countries. Now, I don't want to try all 180 countries. So how do I decide which countries to taste? That's simple. As I travel around the world, I talk to other travelers. If they love many of the same countries that I love, there's a good chance that I'll love other places they recommend that I haven't been yet. So I put those countries on a list and go see them eventually. But every country has a thing or two that annoys me after a while. So I eventually want to go to taste some new countries. So what are a few of the things in the Philippines that make me want to see other countries? Number 2, healthcare. The top hospitals in the Philippines seem to be pricey when compared to other hospitals in some of the other retired chief countries. We went to one of the top hospitals in the Philippines to renew our Hep A and Hep B vaccines, and the prices were much higher. Also, the hospitals in many rural areas of the Philippines seem to be underfunded. You may find great individual doctors in some of these rural areas, but the hospitals and equipment they're working with may limit what they can do for you locally, so you may have to travel to a larger city where the healthcare can cost substantially more. The prescription meds in the Philippines can also be much more expensive than in other countries nearby. For example, the same prescription meds are often much cheaper in Malaysia and Vietnam. Plus, some hospitals in the Philippines will not bill your international insurance directly. They expect you to put up a large deposit before you're admitted to the hospital and then expect you to get reimbursed from your insurance company. Okay, number 3, food. In densely populated cities like Metro Manila and Cebu, you can get all sorts of international foods from around the world. Some smaller towns like Dumaguete have an assortment of imported international foods in stores and restaurants, but as a whole, medium to smaller cities have fewer international options. This means that you may not be able to get all of your comfort foods from home very easily. It also means that the international restaurants near you will struggle to get the ingredients they need to make your taste buds dance. When that happens to you, it's natural to start thinking, I wonder what flavors they're serving up in other countries today. Maybe it's time for you to go taste another country. That brings up the next one, number 4, the harem effect. I have lived in 67 countries so far in my life, but the truth is I like some more than others, and I like them for different reasons. And no one country has ever left a perfect taste in my mouth. Eventually my memory takes over and I miss one of the other favorite countries. No matter how much you love a country, your mind will begin to miss one of the other countries you loved in the past. So you naturally want to go back and visit one of the other countries you love. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. So eventually in each part of the world, you'll have your favorite countries. I call these your harem countries. And since the world is your harem, you'll eventually want to get back into bed with your favorite countries. With all of these beautiful places you have been, monogamy with one country won't feel natural to you. Every year I do a harem report where I share my top 15 countries in the entire world to retire for cheap. I will put a link to that video at the end of this video, but you can never create your own harem of countries until you go taste other countries. There are also financial security reasons to keep a harem of countries instead of monogamy with one country. You need to leave so the tax man keeps his hands out of your pockets. That's number 5, the tax mans. Live in each country less than 180 days per year. Many countries around the world might begin taxing your income if you spend more than 180 days there. So if you spend less than 180 days in those countries, you're less likely to be required to pay income taxes when you exit. Taxes are a complicated subject and rules change all the time. So there's no guarantee this won't change in the future. So make sure to speak to a local accountant so you can verify how long you can stay in each country without paying taxes. But in the general sense, if you stay in each country for less than 180 days per year, you are less likely to be taxed on your income. There are a bunch of people shaking their boots right now. You see, Thailand announced that they may be taxing income of people that stay in Thailand for about 180 days. I read that this new law goes into effect on January 1st, 2024. Discuss it with your accountant for details. So by having a harem of 3 or more countries, each of which you spend less than 100 days in per year, you may have fewer taxmen with their hands in your pockets. I think of this one like the old saying, a rolling stone gathers no moss. You are the rolling stone and the tax man is the moss that will grow on you if you sit still too long. Okay, number 6, foreign banking. I don't open bank accounts in foreign countries for the same reason. Once you're in a foreign country's banking system, you become more visible to their taxman. Many governments require their banks to report financial transactions, so you may eventually show up on the taxman's radar. A moment ago, I mentioned the new tax law going into effect in Thailand. Here is something to ask your accountant. If you keep your money in your home country bank, in my case, the US bank, and you pull money out at ATMs when you need it, instead of opening a Thai bank account, would you still have to pay Thai taxes? So if you limit your time in each harem country each year and you don't open bank accounts in harem countries, you might be reducing the chances that you'll end up on the tax rolls of your harem countries. Additionally, your home country may require you to report any foreign accounts you've opened overseas, and the failure to do so can result in substantial penalties. For example, the penalties for US citizens not reporting foreign bank accounts starts at about $10,000 per year. For high wealth individuals with international tax accountants, they may suggest bank accounts in foreign countries and report them if required by law. But a small guy like me just keeps his money in US banks and pulls money out at ATMs in his harem countries when he needs it. Companies like Charles Schwab even rebate foreign ATM fees. So in my opinion, if you stay in each country less than 180 days per year and don't open foreign accounts, you're less likely to be required to pay taxes in foreign countries. But laws change all the time, so check with your accountant before making any tax-related decisions. Okay, number 7, bring sand to the beach. Let's assume for a minute that you're going to start building your harem of countries. If you are in one of your harem countries and you fall in love with someone, should you bring them with you to your next harem country? I received a comment on one of my videos. Someone said, "Why are you bringing sand to the beach?" Basically, he was asking me, why are you bringing your girlfriend 𝐶𝐈 from Malaysia to the Philippines? I don't really see 𝐶𝐈 as just another grain of sand. She is one of a kind. So I'm not bringing sand to the beach, I'm bringing 𝐶𝐈 to the beach. But there's a problem hidden in this question. If you decide to bring your new love to your harem countries, what countries can they go to without getting a visa? That is something you need to think about. Passports have travel power. A person's passport will determine what countries they can go to and for how long they can stay without getting visas. So when you're deciding what country to shop for travel companionship, think about the passport holders of that country. Can they travel to your favorite harem countries? For example, Google what countries can a Philippines passport holder travel to without a visa. Also search on what countries can a Philippines passport holder travel to with visa on arrival, or whatever country you're interested in. My Google search today found the following harem countries that I would enjoy staying visa-free: Brazil, Cambodia, Costa Rica, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Peru, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, and for visa on arrival countries, Madagascar, Maldives, Mauritius, Nepal, Nicaragua, and Seychelles. That's where a Filipino passport holder can travel, either visa-free or with visa on arrival. But before I knew anything about the power of passports, I had already met 𝐶𝐈. She is from Malaysia, which has one of the strongest passports in the world. For example, I'm an American and I can travel to about 180 countries without a visa. 𝐶𝐈 is Malaysian and she can travel with just about as many countries, like 178 or something like that. So what does it cost to keep a harem of slow travel countries that you're circulating through each year? That's number 8, cost of slow travel. I want to talk in the general sense about why living a slow travel life might be conducted more cheaply than you think. Imagine for a moment that you found 3 countries on the same continent that are adjacent to each other on the map, countries A, B, and C. If you were to stay in each country one after another in a circular motion, each stay for less than 180 days, and you were to travel on land or on cheap flights for like $75 each, your travel costs would only be $225 per year. Your travel expenses would be minimal. Assuming you stayed in furnished apartments with kitchens, your food expense could also be controlled fairly well by cooking. If you had any expensive challenges, it would likely be accommodations because you're not negotiating one-year leases in each place. After all, you're not staying long enough. But what if you were to find 2 other people who are willing to circulate through the same countries with you, moving forward through each other's one-year leased accommodations? You would each be able to enjoy each other's lower rents by staying in each other's apartments. This is just another example of how a slow travel wheel could be used to reduce expenses for all 3 people circulating through this wheel. If you would be interested in being a part of these slow travel wheels, please join the slow travel email list in the description below this video. Finally, the Philippines is not the only place in the world I recommend retiring early for cheap. I have over 950 videos of us on the ground in these countries and 113 written reports on retired cheap cities around the world, along with 65 overseas retirement planning reports, along with 2 courses, one on how to retire overseas and another on how to make money online with your favorite hobby, all available at vagabondbuddha.com. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, comment, or subscribe. You can also watch the video appearing on the screen above now that shares my top 15 retire cheap harem countries in the entire world, and make sure to click the free ebook link to get a copy of my ebook, How I Fired My Boss and Traveled the World for 16+ years.